I'm a huge fan of British TV and film. If only there was one streaming service where I could get a bunch of British shows and movies all in one place. Hey, wait a minute! Alright, I can't help a little cornball every now and then. It was either that or subject you to a horrible Cockney accent. Trying to break down the value of different platforms, we're looking to dig into some of the services which are a little lower profile than your Netflixes and your HBO Maxes. For the folks in our audience, do you use the Britbox? And while you're catching up on 26 seasons of classic Doctor Who, we hope you'll also make some time to check in with all the great work here on Reviews.org. Hit those subscribe options down below, give us a follow around the socials. We've got a whole team of folks making you some really fun content, hopefully also save you a little cash. Yeah, I'm a big old nerd for British cinema and television. I was raised on a healthy dose of Doctor Who, Blake 7, and Red Dwarf, and other shows that aren't science fiction. We've been talking about streaming fatigue in some of our recent videos, and there has been a lot of fair criticism that streaming is now looking more and more like cable TV again. Rack up a collection of services, paying monthly, and ending up with a higher bill than when you just had cable. The flip side to that, I think it's never been easier to a la carte pick your services, focus on specific shows, pause a subscription, and only spend money on what you're really watching. Trying to negotiate a different cable package every month would be excruciatingly painful with my cable provider. And that's where some of these more content-specific streaming platforms can really shine. Britbox is pretty easy to grok. Like, it's in the name of the service. It's a box of British stuff. From mysteries to histories, comedy to cookery, Britbox brings you the best of British telly direct from the UK. And the catalog is decently stocked. Just running down the A to Z, you'll find familiar favorites. And like all the other streaming apps now, Britbox is also getting into the original programming game. The Responder with Martin Freeman looks pretty good. But I do think it's hilarious how many of their show thumbnails are either four people standing in the frame or a single or pair of faces, hard justified to the right edge, and almost everything is like blue and gold. Ah, the Bletchley circle. There's actually some design happening on this thumbnail. Very well done. I really liked the original Bletchley. I might watch this San Francisco reboot, because that's one of the tricky things about a more focused streaming catalog. There are other licensing agreements, production studios have their own platforms, and shows can be divided by streaming services. Britbox is doing their own Bletchley spin-off. The original series is not on Britbox. 26 seasons of classic Doctor Who, but the new stuff is on HBO Max. But if I want to rewatch the thick of it, or MI5, which I liked MI5 before it was called MI5, Britbox has the whole run of both of those shows. As a consumer, it's hard to get a handle on where you need to go to watch what you want. But when you do land a complete series like Red Dwarf, there's been some care in uploading higher quality and restored versions than what I can see with my old DVDs. Britbox leans into one of my criticisms of other streaming services, one of my pet peeves, where discovery and search can be a little clumsy. Broad genres like comedy, but then stand-up comedy, episodic sitcoms, and movies and specials are kinda all just lumped together. Britbox plays to its strengths. There are storytelling traditions in UK media, focusing on mysteries and dramas. There's always a streak of dignity-shredding, lovable losers in their comedies, and the science fiction always manages a balance of fantasy and sharp wit. I'll happily take the 1981 Hitchhiker's Guide series with its cardboard sets and hokey special effects over the flashier 2005 movie. And that's where Britbox really finds its charm. Price is $7 a month or $70 a year. I don't know that this would be a yearly for me, even being such a big fan of so many of these shows. I really like the idea of thinking of streaming as month-long movie rentals. $7 is less than what you'd probably spend renting a single new release. So hey, I really want to binge Downton Abbey again, but I don't want to spend $115 on Apple TV. Well, I can rent the whole show for $7. And maybe I'll dip my toe into some other content while I have the subscription live. Like, I had no idea they did 7 seasons of The British Empire, which is where we should start wrapping this up before I just keep looking up old shows on camera. I think BritBox lands a great bang for buck if we view it as a sometimes service. It's a little cheaper than Disney Plus, the catalog has a ton of familiar favorites, and the service is building their own collection of originals. It kind of straddles that line with a service like Apple TV Plus, where you know going in, the catalog is a little smaller, a little more focused. Spending some time trolling through the archives, I'm definitely going to have BritBox on the side when my wife and I are in between major new shows on other platforms. But we need to hear from you. Are you doing the BritBox? Do you pay monthly or have you signed up for a whole year? Drop us some comments down below. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos, subscribing to the channel. For Reviews.org, I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell, aka Some Gadget Guy, and I will catch you all on the next video.